चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Verse 24. विशान्महाग्ने पुरुषाददर्शनात् असत्सभाया वनवासकृत्स्रुत मृदे मृदे अनेकमहारथास्त्रतो द्रोण्यस्त्रतश्चास्म हरेभिरक्षिता विशान्महाग्ने पुरुषाददर्शनात् असत्सभाया वनवासकृत्स्रुत मृदे मृदे अनेकमहारथास्त्रतो द्रोण्यस्त्रतश्चास्म हरेभिरक्षिता. Word to word translation. Vishad from poison, Mahagne from the great fire, Purushada the man-eaters, Darshanat by combating, Asat vicious, Sabhayaha assembly, Vanavasa exile to the forest, Tricharataha sufferings, Mride mride again and again in battle, Aneka many, Maharatha great generals, Astrataha weapons, Drauni the son of Dronacharya, Astrataha from the weapon of Cha, and Asma indicating past tense, Hare, O my Lord, Avirakshitaha protected completely. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanathan, the Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. My dear Krishna, your Lordship has protected us from a poisoned plague, from a great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from sufferings during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where great generals fought. And now you have saved us from the weapon of Ashwatthama. Purpose. The list of dangerous encounters is submitted here. Devaki was once put into difficulty by her envious brother. Otherwise, she was well. But Kunti Devi and her sons were put into one difficulty after another for years and years together. They were put into trouble by Duryodhan and his party due to the kingdom. And each and every time the sons of Kunti were saved by the Lord. Once Bhima was administered poison in a cave. Once they were put into a house made of shellac and set afire. And once Draupadi was dragged out, and attempts were made to insult her by stripping her naked in the vicious assembly of the Kurus. The Lord saved Draupadi by supplying an immeasurable length of cloth, and Duryodhan's party failed to see her naked. Similarly, when they were exiled in the forest, Bhima had to fight with the man-eater demon Hidimba Rakshasa, but the Lord saved him. So it was not finished there. After all these tribulations, there was the great battle of Kurukshetra, and Arjuna had to meet such great generals as Drona, Bhishma, and Karna, all powerful fighters. And at last, even when everything was done away with, there was the Brahmastra released by the son of Dronacharya to kill the child within the womb of Uttara. And so the Lord saved the only surviving descendant of the Kuru, Maharaj Parikshit. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Thank you all for joining. So again, after my to everyone who is assembled, so today we are seeing from this verse from the Canto 1, chapter 8, and verse 24, where Mother Kunti is recounting in her prayers the various ways that Krishna protected them. So, Vishan Mahadni Purushada Darshana Dasat Sabhaya Vanavasa Pucharata Mride Mride Aneka Maharatnastrato Draunyastratas Hare Virakshita. So various ways that Krishna protected, she is showing, she is listing them. Actually, in the list of Kunti Maharani's prayers in the flow, she is actually comparing herself, like not in the sense comparing, actually counting herself as more fortunate than Devaki in one sense, because as Prabhupada writes in the purport, Devaki was saved once from the hands of Kamsa, and she had her sons killed. However, Kunti was saying, we had continuous miseries and every time you protected my sons. So in that way, I consider myself more fortunate. Not out of pride. She is actually humbled by the fact that Krishna came in so many ways to actually protect her and her sons. And here, one important thing we can notice is not in all of these situations, Krishna was personally present. Like there, we don't know how Krishna intervened when Bhima was poisoned. We don't know how Krishna intervened when they were sent to the Varanavat house of lack, and we don't know how Krishna protected Bhima from, and the other Pandavas from Hidimba or Bakasura. And in this way, there are so many places where Krishna was not externally in the picture, but the consciousness of Kunti Maharani is that all in all these situations and those situations which she has not even listed, in all these situations, who protected? It is Hare Bhirakshitaha. So it is only the Supreme Lord Hari, you, O my Lord, you protected us completely, you protected us continuously. So this is a consciousness of seeing Krishna at every step in her of her life. Not only when Krishna was personally present, but she was seeing Krishna in so many ways. So today we can discuss how, in following in the footsteps of Mother Kunti, we can see Krishna's presence and protection in our lives in so many different ways that Krishna comes. So, taking this verse, through that we will see what we can learn from Mother Kunti to see Krishna in our lives and to experience His protection always. So, I'm using this acronym PROTECT to explain this particular concept. So we will go one by one. So here in this verse, there were many instances of protection by Krishna was listed by Kunti Maharani. So generally saying Krishna protects his devotees, especially when he was here in the planet. He protected them many times by his personal presence. He was personally there to protect uh, them, the devotees. So as Kunti Maharani is listing here, one of the situation is Parikshit Maharaj being saved in the womb of Mother Uttara. And that is what is leading to these prayers of Kunti Maharani actually. Because everything was over. All these other protections, everything is over. But finally, when they were thinking that everything is finally over, then Ashwatthama releases the Brahmastra. So this is the last surviving heir of the Pandavas, and he has attacked him right in the womb before even he was born. So when he was saved by Krishna, when Uttara came running for help, and when Krishna helped him, this is the situation, and then he is saying, I want to leave to Dwarka. So this is the situation where Mother Kunti is overwhelmed with gratitude, overwhelmed with complete experiencing complete protection of Krishna right now, like saving both his future grandson, great grandson, as well as uh, all the other Pandavas. So, experiencing that protection of Krishna, she is overwhelmed with gratitude and ecstasy, and she is speaking all these prayers. So, when she's saying, you just now saved all of us from this Brahmastra of Ashwatthama, especially Parikshit. So this is a personal way. Krishna entered into the womb of Mother Uttara, Angushta Matra Mamalam. So as he actually went inside the womb of Uttara and personally protected Parikshit Maharaj. And also, Krishna protected the Pandavas in the battlefield. Kunti Maharani is saying you protected in like so many Mride Aneka Maharatastra. There were so many Maharathis were there in the battlefield like Drona, Bhishma, Karna, and so many people. And you protected the Pandavas every time, one after another in the Mahabharata war. If we see Krishna protected them in so many ways. The son of Gatotkaч, who's the son of Bhima, so the grandson of Bhima, the son of Gatotkač, he wanted to actually, he was a child, but he wanted to see what is happening in the battlefield. So since he was a child, he was not allowed to go. So he was asked to stay on top of a nearby mountain. From there, he was looking. And when after the war, he was asked, "What did you see? Which was the fight that you really liked?" And his answer was, "I couldn't see anybody else fighting. I only saw Krishna Sudarshan Chakra actually chopping everyone." So even though the people were doing everything, but it was actually Krishna from the background, in one sense, doing everything. So here he protected the Pandavas in the battlefield, especially on a day when Arjuna could not cope up with the fight of Bhishma, and it was almost certain that Bhishma could kill Arjuna. Krishna completely got agitated. So Krishna said, if I won't enter and I handle the situation, Arjuna will be killed, not just Arjuna, all the Pandavas. So he just jumps out of the chariot, picks up the chariot wheel, and then rushes towards Bhishma. And the Acharyas say Krishna could have just released the wheel right from wherever he was, because when they are fighting in the archery fight, there is a quite good distance between the two fighters. So he could have just released the wheel for his omnipotent. It could have come and attacked Bhishma. So why did he run? So it is said the acharyas are saying that Krishna was so personally concerned. Krishna wanted to be sure that this wheel attacks Bhishma. He didn't want to miss. Even though he's the Supreme Lord, he's wanting to be doubly sure. I don't want to throw from here and miss Bhishma. I want to make sure that Bhishma is attacked. So that's why he's lifting personally and running towards Bhishma. It's not that Krishna is thinking Arjuna is going to come and stop me and save me from having the infamy of lifting a weapon. No, Krishna was, if Arjuna did not stop, Krishna would have attacked Bhishma. And it would have been a like a infamy for Krishna, thinking that he intervened in the war. But still, he was not carrying any of those things to protect his devotees. When he was rushing, Arjuna was thinking, "Oh my God! Like you, Krishna, you said you are not supposed to lift weapon. So then you will be, like you will be actually everybody will vilify you for lifting this chakra now, even though it is not a weapon. Still people will be always showing this defect of yours." So he was rushing to stop Krishna, please, but Krishna was already very ahead, so he just did a long jump, held Krishna's uh, lotus legs, and then he was trying to stop, but Krishna was running with such force, he was just dragging Arjuna along and he was not stopping. So Arjuna thought, how do I actually stop here? So he just actually banged his two legs into the ground and it created a crack, and then he stuck his legs into the earth. And that is how then he stopped Krishna. And then once he stopped Krishna, he was begging, so please don't attack. You will actually incur bad name by doing this. But Krishna and he said, tomorrow I'll fight in such a way that I will kill Bhishma. So please drop the weapon. So Krishna, in every situation, was ready to protect his devotees. So in this way, or in this circumstance also, he personally protected them. And also in the Vanavasa Prachrataha, there were so many inconveniences in the when they were exiled to the forest. And one of them was like Durvasa visited the Pandavas to actually have food along with 60,000 of his disciples, and that's the exact plan of Duryodhana, that the Pandavas should not be able to please Durvasa, and in that way Durvasa should curse them. But Krishna personally came and then made sure they were protected in that situation. So in this way, so many times Krishna personally came to protect his devotees. When we see in our own lives, expecting Krishna to personally come, we may have the desire, but having the expectation it may not be the best thing for us, because we cannot dictate what Krishna can do. If he wants to come, nobody can stop. But expecting Krishna to come personally every time to protect us may not be the right expectation for a devotee. So we can see how Kunti Maharani is seeing in other times that how Krishna protected. Not all times he was there personally, but she is still saying everything was due to Krishna's protection. So she is saying how the Varna house of black, how did Krishna protect? Krishna came in the form of Vidura actually. So he gave the intelligence to Vidura to understand that there is something fishy in this. That if Dhritarashtra wants to enjoy, wants the Pandavas to enjoy, which is very unusual, so there is something fishy here. So he, through his spies, figured out that the house of Varanavat is made of land. And he actually alerted all the Pandavas, especially Yudhishthira Maharaj, giving him a sign in a code language. He spoke that when there is fire, you should go into underground. And he also arranged some person at the end of the tunnel to pick them up and to cross the river. So in this way, Krishna helped the Pandavas through Vidura. So in our lives also, we can experience the protection of Krishna continuously through his representatives like Srila Prabhupada, our own spiritual masters, senior devotees, and all other devotees that we are dealing with. They all are representatives of Krishna when they help us, when they actually correct us, when they actually guide us. It is in one sense Krishna protecting us. Expecting only now when Krishna personally comes, I will be happy. No, these protection that is coming through all these devotees is also Krishna's protection. So, in the association of devotees, we can act as Krishna's instruments of protection in the lives of other devotees, and we should allow other devotees to act as Krishna's instruments of protection in our lives. But what happens in the association of devotees sometimes is we attack our own immunity system. So, devotees are our devotional immunity system. They are the ones who will actually protect us by their association. But in the association, like how these different diseases which attacks the immunity system itself first, weakens the immunity system. and then the host of all kinds of diseases can come in. Similarly, we, due to our own conditionings, we actually attack our own, weaken our own immunity system of the protection from devotees. We commit offenses, we created distance between ourselves and the devotees by our behavior. Sometimes we are so independent minded or arrogant that devotees don't feel like they can approach and then suggest us something. So in that way, we weaken our own immunity system, but not being by not being approachable to other devotees, by not being in a position where others can suggest or correct or help us. So then we are just setting up for our own misery by, even though while living in the association of devotees, still not having a uh, mood by which devotees can correct us, we are only inviting misery for us. So, not seeing these representatives as Krishna's protection can become a misfortune in a devotee's life. So, because Maya first creates distance between us and the other devotees in the even though we live in the association of devotees, creates an internal distance in the heart. So then we remain alone, and when we are alone, we can be easily attacked. So that is the Maya's trick, that attacking the cooperative spirit among the devotees. So as soon as we don't have a cooperative spirit in terms of sadhana, seva, and sangha, then it is very easy for Maya to attack for an individual soul. So Daivihi Esha Gunamai Mama Maya Turatya Mam Evaye Prapatyante Mayam Yetam Tarantite. So Krishna says only who takes shelter of me can overcome this insurmountable external energy. So how do we take shelter of Krishna? One, we take shelter of Krishna through chanting the holy names in the association of devotees specifically. So that is a very important aspect of gaining the protection of Krishna by being submissive or being approachable for the representatives of Krishna to offer us protection in various ways. So this famous story of the Trojan horse. So how the Trojan horse attacks? If you see the historical incident, the two armies who were fighting. So one of the armies, they were trying to fight for a long time, but they could not defeat. So while going, as if they were retreating, they just left a uh, gift for the winning army in the form of a big Trojan horse. And then they receded. They went back into the sea. So the particular kingdom, they thought, oh, the people have, who tried to fight us, they have lost, they have accepted their defeat and they have gone back. But they seem to have left a gift, this Trojan horse. So they took it inside. So some wise people said, see, this is a gift from the enemy, don't accept it, don't trust it. But other people thought this is such a huge bounty, we should just have it. So they just bring it and then they celebrate the victory of in the war. But in the night, what happens is from there were warriors hiding inside the Trojan horse. Say they go and then they open the gates of the city. When all the guards, everybody is intoxicated, they open the gates of the city. And the army which receded through sea actually comes back in the night. And now that the gate of the city is open, everybody enters and then attacks and defeats the whole army, opposite army. So this is the exact same thing Maya also does, because we are very strong in the association of devotees cooperating with each other, then she cannot attack. So first she will actually weaken our association relationship with the devotees. Then she, like the soldiers coming out of the Trojan horse, then Maya will enter us and then open the gates, and we become susceptible to all kinds of problem, all kinds of distractions, those things which we could resist so easily earlier. Like when devotees come newly to Krishna consciousness, they can easily resist sense gratification of various forms that they had already given up. But now, after years of practicing, those things that they gave up actually come back to haunt them, come back to attack them more strongly. That sometimes devotees feel, I don't have strength to even fight these simple things, which even make some of the materialistic people can give up. So that is because we have not accepted the protection of the devotees. and that is why it is very important to recognize the other devotees in the association to be representatives of Krishna or for our protection. The other way that Krishna protects us, sometimes he personally comes, but sometimes he sends his representatives. But sometimes there could be miracles. Not necessarily always. We cannot say Krishna should always do miracles with me to protect me. So I do something voluntarily stupid and then expecting, oh, let me see if Krishna protects me. No. But sometimes Krishna willing, he can protect us through performing a miracle through his omnipotence. So one such instance here that Mother Kunti is explaining is the attempted disrobing of Draupadi. So many places in the pictures or in the dramas or the serials that we see of Mahabharata, they depict this in various ways, that Krishna is appearing on the top, or Krishna is appearing like a chakra, the sari is coming from a chakra, sari is coming from a light, or sari is personally coming from Krishna standing there. In the reality, in that particular assembly, nobody could see personally Krishna, but they only saw Dushasan trying to pull the sari of Draupadi, and the sari kept coming. The sari kept coming. Dushasan is not a normal person, he is very powerful. He became completely tired by pulling the sari of Draupadi. He was completely bewildered. Everybody could see that this is something uh, like something miraculous, that Krishna protected her through his omnipresence and omnipotence by providing unlimited sari to protect the chastity of Draupadi. So this is possible sometimes, that Krishna can perform miracles in our lives, in other devotees' lives, to protect them in various circumstances. Like Shyam Sundar Prabhu, Shyam Sundar Prabhu, disciple of Srila Prabhupada, he writes in his book how once Srila Prabhupada asked him to request George Harrison for a donation to print the Krishna book. Shyam Sundar Prabhu had struck a very good friendship with George Harrison. Through that friendship, he had just before some time had received some donation for buying marbles for building the temple. And that was very voluntary. And George Harrison was very wary of people who actually came to him and made a relationship just for his money. He did not like that. He was very fed up with that. So Shyamsundar Prabhu very clearly knew of this, and he was making sure he is not having any dealings like that, which will destroy that, which will affect the trust of George Harrison. So he told Prabhupada just recently he gave voluntarily a donation for this building the temple marble. So I don't feel comfortable asking him again for another donation for Krishna book. Prabhupada said, no, you have to ask. And he was saying no. And after a while, Prabhupada said, okay, you don't need to take the blame. You just put the blame on me. Tell that my guru is actually asking for a donation from you. You don't have to ask on a personal basis. So still he was not convinced, but since Prabhupada strongly instructed him to follow his guru's instructions, he went to George Harrison and they were meeting, and as usual, they were trying to speak with so many things. And Shamsundar Prabhu was in anxiety. Oh, what's going to happen? Will he actually accept? What will he think of me asking him for a donation? So when Shamsundar Prabhu actually was speaking about the weather and all kinds of stuff before he could come to the actual topic, and they were saying how the weather is so good, and Josh Harrison was also saying, yeah, today's weather is supposed to be extremely clear and nice. And then Shamsundar Prabhu said, I have one thing to ask. Basically, my spiritual master actually wanted you to donate for printing a book. So hearing this, Josh Harrison actually his face turned sad, like that. And he said, I didn't expect this from you. How can you expect me to give money? So when he said this, immediately there was the whole sky became dark, and there was so for continuous 5 or 10 minutes there was thunderbolts and lightning, and the sky had suddenly become dark, and the power went off, and they could not even see each other. And this lightning and the thundering went on for a while continuously, and it was all of a sudden. There was no sign of anything like that happening. So when this happened and the whole thing was over, and when the power came back, George Harrison was smiling actually. And he said, I think Krishna gave me an indication that I was not in the right frame of mind. I accept whatever your guru is saying. I'll offer this as a donation. So he not only offered a donation, he offered to write a foreword for the book. So George Harrison writing a foreword for a book is no joke at that point of time. So George Harrison offered to write a foreword for the book and also take the donation for printing the book. So this was a miracle that Krishna performed for helping Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's printing of Bhagavad Gita with Macmillan for the first time is a miracle. How that particular story unfolds and how Srila Prabhupada gets the Krishna book printed through George Harrison's help. That is also a miracle. And Mother Malati says that how when they were actually struggling for rent, they saw the bills flying in the exact number of amount of money that they wanted. That bills were actually flying in the sky in the street, and they collected and counted, and it was exactly the same amount that they wanted. So in this way, in Krishna's service, sometimes in devotees' life, miracles could happen, and we don't expect for it, but it can happen. So in that way, also Krishna can protect. And the primary form of protection that Krishna offers in the devotee's life is also through teachings that Mother Kunti is saying that how he protected in the battlefield. So one way Krishna protected in the battlefield by assisting in the fight. But first of all, Arjuna was not even willing to fight. So he completely gave up the fight. There was no question of winning the fight when you don't fight it, when you don't participate in the fight. And Arjuna was right in that frame of mind that I don't want to participate in this fight. So where is the winning the fight? There is no question of winning the kingdom if you don't even fight. So then Krishna actually through his teachings, through speaking the Bhagavad Gita, he actually convinced Arjuna to fight the battle. Only then he can win the battle. So it was through his teachings of Bhagavad Gita that he protected the consciousness of Arjuna. And similarly, Krishna offers these teachings for all of our protection in the form of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. So now what we are doing right in the morning, we are actually boosting our immunity system by hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam. By hearing the words of Mother Kunti, we are actually increasing the immunity, increasing the boosting our devotional immunity. And this is the process, getting together, chanting, hearing, remembering Krishna through reading teachings of Krishna like Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam in the association of devotees and personally, we actually boost our immunity. And those teachings are not just for reading, but they are also for remembering and applying in our personal lives. So Srila Prabhupada sometimes read his own books, even though he was the author, he read his own books. And he said, no, Krishna dictated to me. These are Krishna's direct teachings. And Srila Prabhupada always took shelter of them, either by speaking about them or writing them or even sometimes hearing his own books. So as devotees, we have to develop this habit of taking shelter of the teachings of Krishna, Srila Prabhupada through the form of Prabhupada's books, scriptures, Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, regularly reading them in the association of devotees, discussing them in the association of devotees, and applying them. And always remembering in the background of their mind how when they are doing simple activities at home, you could be cleaning your home, you could be cooking, you could be doing simple activities which needs some amount of consciousness, but your rest of your consciousness could be absorbed in Krishna even while doing some things. Some things you have to apply full focus. And as a service to Krishna, we can fully apply our focus there. However, there are circumstances where we can also hear about Krishna, sing about Krishna. While singing a bhajan, we can cook. While hearing a bhajan, we can cook. So in this way, there are various opportunities for us to remember Krishna throughout the day. As devotees, we should be eager. That is the result of these teachings of Krishna, that we develop as much as possible continuous remembrance of Krishna. So a devotee is one who's actually conscious of Krishna. So that is why Krishna gives so many indications. Prasoham apsukaunteya or prabhasmi shashishuryayo. So there are various opportunities for us to remember Krishna if we want to, if we are in the right frame of mind. So through the teachings and by following the teachings, By remembering Krishna, we can protect our consciousness. So this is one way of protection. The other way of protection that Krishna offered was through empowering the Pandavas. Say, for example, when Bhima was fighting Hidimba or Bakasura, there was no Krishna there. When Arjuna was fighting in various times with other people, Krishna was not personally present, but Krishna had given them the skills to protect themselves. So they also endeavored, but that endeavor was also empowered by Krishna. So that when Krishna killed Bakasur in the Varanavar after the Varanavar pastime, or Hidimba after the Varanavar pastime, so this is Krishna's empowerment. He had huge strength. That strength came from Krishna. So our skills, the abilities that we have, that we can use in Krishna's service, is our gift that we receive from Krishna. We may have some skills by birth, but that is not just no, it has no relation to Krishna. No, it is completely given by Krishna. And now we have an opportunity to use it in his service. So we use it humbly. It could be any skill that we are using in Krishna's service. So if we see that as coming from Krishna, then it becomes protection for us. By engaging in devotional service, by engaging it for Krishna's pleasure, that skill can become a protection for us. But if we become proud, if we become competitive, if we become arrogant because of our skills, if we because we are very good at something, we deride other devotees who are not good at those things. If we see other devotees uh, with contempt because we are very expert in doing at some things, so then that particular contempt, disrespect will become offense, and the skill will lead to our destruction. In the sense, at least our lack in devotional service, our lack of protection in devotional service. The same skill can be a blessing or a curse depending on how we use it in Krishna service and what kind of consciousness we use it in Krishna service. So, seeing all our skills, that's why Arjuna, when he had, after Krishna's disappearance, when he lost all that power, he said, Vanchitoham Maharaja. He said, all these abilities that I had in various instances when I was victorious, all those the skills, the ability was coming from Krishna, and today he took it back. So I could not even fight a simple people to defend the coins of Krishna. So in that way, we seeing everything that we have, including the skills, as Krishna's empowerment and using it in his service and not becoming proud. Only that can be, then the skills can be protection. Then the skills can be, then the empowerment can be protection. Otherwise, they can lead to our fall if we become proud. So turning how we can turn all these things in our lives as protection of being personally offered by Krishna, or we can actually utilize them in a wrong consciousness and make ourselves miserable. So how we do that? That is the art of devotional service. The art of devotional service is not just expertly singing or expertly chanting Sanskrit verses or expertly speaking, remembering so many, being very eloquent, being a perfect, excellent or expert manager, or like an expert deity dresser. So these skills can be used in Krishna service, but if they are not used in the right consciousness, then we won't be able to utilize them for advancing in devotional service. So this is the art of devotional service, doing it everything for the pleasure of Krishna. And the other way, I have a few minutes, let me complete this quickly. And Krishna can also protect through different circumstances that happens in our lives. So everything that happens in our life may not be good. Everything that happens in anyone's life in this world may not be good. There is no guarantee for that, that everything that happens to me in this life is going to be good because I am a devotee. No, that particular form of assurance Krishna never gave. But everything that happens in our life can be for our good. That depends on our attitude. So everything that happens in our life may not be good, but everything that happens can be for our good if we actually take it in the right attitude. And that is what we see in Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, Machitta sarva durgani mat prasada tarishyati. Matchittaha Sarvadurgani. All obstacles you can cross over Matchitta by being conscious of me. By my mercy, Mat Prasada Tarishas, you will overcome all those obstacles. He didn't say if you become my devotee, Matchitta, if you are becoming always conscious of me, you will not have any obstacles. Krishna did not say that. He said, obstacles will come in your life, but if you are conscious of me, by my mercy, you will overcome those miseries. The same thing Kapila Deva also says to Mother Devahuti in the chapter, Canto 3, chapter 35. Like Matkata Shravana means by hearing my pastimes and about me, and by remembering devotees can tapatita vividastapa. There may be so many types of miseries, but they will overcome all that. They will not feel the effect of those miseries in their lives if their consciousness is absorbed in hearing and chanting and remembering me. So our purpose of doing devotional service is not to be free of suffering in this world. That is what Mother Kunti is saying. She is inviting more if it is favorable for Krishna consciousness for her to remember Krishna more. So here Kapil Dev is saying the miseries of this world will not affect devotees. He did not say the devotees will not feel any miseries. Rather, if our consciousness is absorbed in Krishna, these miseries will not affect us. So it is up to us to be, as being devotees, if we are miserable, then we have to ask, am I absorbing my consciousness as Krishna enough that these miseries will not matter to me? Instead of thinking, I'm a devotee, I'm trying to be very sincere. Why all these miseries? Why these devotees are behaving like with me like this? Why is this job there is a problem? Why there is financial problem, emotional problem, relationship problems, all kinds of problems? Why is all these things here if I'm a devotee of Krishna? So Krishna never gave that assurance that there will be no miseries in our life. But Krishna gave us this assurance that if we are consciousness of him always, then by his mercy, Mat Prasada Tarishyasi, we will be able to overcome the miseries that come in our lives by his mercy, if we are always conscious of him. So the art of devotional service again is to develop or is to train ourselves to become absorbed in uh, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's glories, hearing and chanting Krishna. How do we become absorbed more in the activities of devotional service for Krishna's pleasure? This is the art and the heart of devotional service. If someone considers themselves successful in devotional service, this is the success. That how do I develop my absorption in devotional service? Not for name, not for fame, not for anything else. Our only attitude, success in devotional service, is if we develop the attitude of how can I please Krishna? How can I be absorbed in Krishna in doing anything in relation to our lives, in relation to Krishna. So Krishna protects also devotees through various circumstances that happens in the devotees' lives. Anything that could be, it could be externally good or it could be externally bad. But Mother Kunti is seeing Krishna in that. In Bhima being fed poison, she is seeing Krishna's presence. That sounds so crazy. But she is able to see that presence of Krishna in this situation of Bhima being fed poison. How? Because Duryodhana eats this poison and throws him and into the lake. And there, the snakes actually, by biting Bhima, actually act as an antidote. And then Bhima starts attacking. Now he is like immune to that poison. He is just attacking all the snakes. He's just picking and throwing them away. So then they all seeing, oh, we have never seen any human being like this attacking us like this. So they rush back to kingdom, their king Varuna, and then they say that here is a person, and they realize this is Bhima, and Varuna they've actually offers nectar, special nectar to him, and then says, since you are our guest, so please have this. And generally people can only drink one pot, but Bhima, being Bhima, he drinks 7 such pots. If a person drinks one pot, he will get 1,000 elephants strength. And Bhima drinks 7 such pots, and that's why he considered to have the strength of 7,000 elephants. So an apparently very inauspicious and apparently very, very bad thing that happened to Bhima, being fed poison, threatened for life. So it's such a bad thing that can happen to one. But here, through that circumstances, he actually received more protection of Krishna. So what happens in the at first in our lives may not make sense to us, but eventually everything will be for our good if we remain faithful to Krishna. If we don't take material happenings in our lives extremely seriously, that it affects our performance of devotional service, if we just continue doing our devotional service, come what may, anything can happen in this world. We are not special. Anything can happen. And we don't need to imagine and worry, maybe this will happen if I become a devotee of Krishna. A person who suffers before it is necessary actually suffers more than it is necessary. So we don't need to think of future miseries and the past miseries and suffer for them now. So most of the times the problem at hand today, now at this point of time, is not difficult for us to handle. But we actually add the problems are past and the problems of our future, imagined problems of our future, and then see a combination of all this and then get bewildered, even though the problem at our hand currently is manageable. Krishna is only sending those challenges which are manageable for us at this point of time. But we add the past problems and the so called future problems into it and see it as a bigger thing that we cannot handle. And we get panicked and we don't remember Krishna, we don't take shelter of Krishna. Then those circumstances may not lead us to Krishna. So this is a devotee's attitude of seeing anything that is happening in our lives may not be externally good, but seeing that it can be good if we turn to Krishna. Like Gajendra, like Parikshit Maharaj, he got cursed. He cannot say, Krishna, you protected me in the mother of the womb. Why are you not protecting me? No, that is not the promise of Krishna that I'll protect your bodies forever. No. So Parikshit Maharaj did not get stuck there. Rather, he saw that Krishna has protected me by sending Shukadeva Goswami at this point of time. So there he saw Krishna's protection, not in the protection of his body. He saw the protection of Krishna in the arrival of Shukadeva Goswami. In his opportunity to hear from Shukadeva Goswami, he saw the protection of Krishna. So if we want to be advanced devotees, actually devotees who are serving the mission of Prabhupada for his pleasure and Krishna's pleasure, if we want to be instruments of compassion and protection in others' lives, then we should develop the ability to see Krishna's protection in our own lives at every moment, in every situation. Only then we will be able to be those instruments in others' lives. And Krishna finally also can protect through the factor of time. Kaloham, Kalosmi. So in this way, Krishna many times says that he is the time factor. So through the time factor also he can protect us. And Krishna can protect beyond these 7 reasons that I'm saying. He can protect an unlimited base, a combination of all this or something completely different from this. So this is just a thought that we are deriving from this verse based on a lecture by His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. So Krishna, he did not actually protect the Pandavas immediately, gave them the kingdom just like that. No, they had to go through something like 64 years they take actually to achieve the kingdom finally. So he kept the time. He kept time factor, and the Pandavas had to wait. Mother Kunti has had to wait, even though it was their rightful claim. But Krishna, why, you may not say why Krishna you're taking so much time. No, they were open to learn all the lessons for themselves and for others that Krishna is trying to teach through them by going through all that Krishna wanted them to do. So through taking that time to get coronated as kings, they actually taught devotees that how we have to wait for Krishna's sanction, even if it takes a lot of time. So that's what Krishna Dev was saying. You should have achieved the kingdom like this. You don't deserve suffering, being Yudhishthira and being Pandavas and everything. Still, if you suffer, that means it is Krishna's plan. So don't try to understand Krishna's plan. Accept Krishna's plan because it is inconceivable. We don't need to understand the plan of Krishna always, but we can always accept the plan of Krishna, knowing that it is inconceivable. So in this way, there are various ways Krishna protects his devotees through personal protection, through his representatives, through his omnipotence, through his teachings, through his empowerment, through circumstances that happens in our lives, through the time factor. So, and in many more unlimited ways, Krishna can protect his devotees. But as devotees, if we can learn to see how in any of these ways or in other ways that Krishna is coming in our lives and trying to protect us, if we are attentive to that, then we can experience Krishna's protection always in our lives and be steady and confident in our discharge of devotional service for his pleasure and Srila Prabhupada's pleasure. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I spoke things which are beyond my realization, especially in the presence of great souls, senior devotees like Dharan Mohan Prabhu and all of you. I beg pardon for speaking anything which was inappropriate or beyond my realization. I beg all of your blessings so that I can learn to see Krishna's protection, especially dealing with the devotees and his teachings in a respectful way that I can remain protected by Krishna for execution of this devotional service. So thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So at this point, if any of you have any questions, thoughts, Pyare Mohan Prabhu, if you would like to add something, correct something, please go ahead and do that.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
My obeisances, glories to Prabhupada. I think it was a very good class. I have a question on, I'm not sure where you got this from. You may have said it, but I didn't hear it. When Krishna was trying to kill Bhishma and Arjuna was trying to stop him holding his legs, where's that from?
I heard it in a lecture of Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. It is also given in some versions of Mahabharata. That Krishna trying to break trying to bang on the earth and create a crevice so that he can stop Krishna because he was not able to stop. I heard this from Chaitanya Charan Prabhu's lecture, also in the version of, not in Krishna Dharma Prabhu's version, in the elaborate versions of Mahabharata.
Okay, thank you.
But for that same Krishna lifting the wheel, he didn't just do it to protect Arjuna. He also wanted to honor Bhishma's word that he's going to make Krishna, take part in attacking him or something, or taking part in the war, right?
Yes. So that is why Bhishma was so overwhelmed with ecstasy that how Krishna is willing to sacrifice his own reputation for the sake of keeping the words of his devotee. But that devotee is actually Bhishma, because he only said, I'll make Krishna, either Krishna has to lift weapon or Arjuna will die. So he was so pleased that Krishna didn't care for his reputation. If it was to, that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that in the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna says, Kaunteya pratijanehi name bhakta pranashyati. So Krishna could have directly said, my devotees don't perish. But he said, Arjuna, you declare boldly that my devotees never perish. Because he said, Krishna can change his words. He has that kind of a reputation that nobody trusts his words because he can change depending on whatever his devotees want. But if his devotee, as Arjuna declares that my devotees will never perish, then to keep that word of his devotee Arjuna, he will always be there. He will never break that.
Vatsala.
Yeah.
Vatsala?
Bhakti Vatsala. Friend of mine.
If there are no questions or comments to add.
Well, I'll add a comment.
Yes,
With that same incident of Krishna protecting Arjuna, picking up the chariot wheel, Srila Prabhupada said Krishna would rather be known as Bhaktavatsala the great moralist who never breaks his solemn vow.
Yeah. Yeah, Krishna really, like in his becoming the charioteer of Arjuna, also Prabhupada makes the same point that how he is Achyuta, infallible in his love for his devotees, that he didn't hesitate to become the chariot driver of his own devotees, take a subordinate position. Still, he actually, even though he's the Supreme Lord, he took this opportunity to become the chariot driver of his own devotee, and even willing to break his promises, risk his reputation for the sake of protecting the Pandavas. And the protection that he offered to the Pandavas indirectly is the protection that he was offering to each and every one of his devotees in the form of speaking Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. So, yes, Krishna actually is, values that position as Bhaktavatsal at any cost. So, I think it is closer to time. So, if there are no further comments, I will take you on. Thank you very much. I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity, although I'm utterly unqualified. So, thank you very much for having me here. And thank you, Karan.
Thank you very much. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Glory to
Namo Namaha.
Hare Bol. Glory to Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.